The soft, fading light of dusk filters through the windows of a small neighborhood grocery store, casting long shadows across neatly stacked aisles of fresh produce and canned goods. Daniel, a rugged single dad in his late 30s, stands at the checkout counter, a brown paper bag of groceries at his side, his tired hazel eyes scanning the items with quiet care. He's exhausted from a long day, yet there's a gentle warmth in his gaze, a mix of fatigue, empathy, and the endless love he carries for his young child waiting patiently in the car outside. Behind the counter, Lily, a petite cashier in her early 20s, fumbles nervously with the barcode scanner. Her chestnut hair is loosely tied, freckled face pale and flushed, hands trembling slightly with each beep of the scanner. The subtle quiver in her movements, the wide, anxious shimmer of her greenish-brown eyes, and the thin line of her lips betraying unspoken struggle tell a story of silent vulnerability. As Daniel notices her shaking hands, a spark of human connection ignites, quiet, tender, and unspoken. In that fleeting moment, empathy bridges the gap between two strangers, and the ordinary grocery store becomes a stage for an extraordinary act of kindness, one that will change both their lives forever. The small neighborhood grocery store sat quietly under the warm glow of flickering fluorescent lights as dusk settled over the streets outside. A faint hum of refrigeration units mixed with the soft rustle of plastic bags and the occasional beep of the scanner, creating a rhythm that was both mundane and comforting. Daniel, a single father in his late 30s, stood at the checkout counter, a brown paper bag brimming with fresh groceries in his hand. Bright red apples, leafy greens, and a crusty loaf of bread peeked out from the top. His short dark brown hair, streaked with gray at the temples, fell slightly over his forehead, and light stubble traced the lines of his strong jaw. Though fatigue tugged at his tired hazel eyes and slouched shoulders, his gaze was full of warmth and quiet attentiveness, reflecting a man who carried responsibility lightly but with unwavering care. Behind the counter, Lily, a petite young woman in her early 20s, moved with delicate, anxious precision. Her chestnut hair was loosely tied back, a few fine strands framing her freckled, pale face. The soft pink flush on her cheeks betrayed her nervousness, while her greenish-brown eyes, wide and shimmering, reflected both fatigue and apprehension. Her hands trembled slightly as they hovered over the barcode scanner, veins faintly visible beneath her fair skin. She wore a slightly wrinkled navy blue uniform shirt and black trousers, the name tag reading, Lily, emphasizing both her youth and the weight of her quiet struggle. The store around them blurred softly in the background, aisles of neatly stacked canned goods and fresh produce illuminated by the warm, flickering light. Outside, the fading dusk revealed a small child waiting patiently in a parked car, oblivious to the unfolding tension inside. In that moment, the ordinary transformed into something deeply human, a fragile, quiet connection forming between two strangers, filled with empathy, vulnerability, and the unspoken understanding of life's struggles. The fluorescent lights overhead flickered faintly, casting soft, warm shadows across the aisles of the small neighborhood grocery store. Daniel, late 30s, remained at the checkout counter, brown paper bag of groceries resting by his side, his hazel eyes focused on Lily as she worked. The exhaustion of his long day clung to him in the slump of his shoulders and the faint lines near his tired eyes, yet there was a softness in his gaze, a quiet empathy that seemed to reach out across the counter. His short dark brown hair, streaked with gray at the temples, caught the light, and the faint stubble along his jawline gave his rugged face an approachable warmth. Lily, early 20s and petite, moved with nervous precision, her hands trembling slightly as she fumbled with the barcode scanner. The veins beneath her fair skin stood out faintly, betraying the anxiety she tried to hide. Her greenish-brown eyes, wide and glistening with fatigue, flicked up to meet Daniel's gaze for a brief instant before darting back down at the groceries. Chestnut hair loosely tied back framed her freckled, pale face, flushed from stress, with fine strands brushing her forehead and cheeks. Her lips quivered subtly as she adjusted an item on the counter, each small motion radiating tension and vulnerability. Around them, the store hummed quietly, aisles of neatly stacked canned goods and fresh produce stretching into softly blurred space. Outside, the fading light of dusk cast a gentle glow on the parked car where a small child waited patiently, unaware of the quiet human drama unfolding inside. In this fleeting, intimate moment, an unspoken bond began to form between Daniel and Lily, a bridge of empathy, trust, and silent understanding. The ordinary grocery store became a stage for vulnerability, a place where a simple act of attention could awaken hope, human connection, and the promise of kindness. The warm fluorescent lights overhead flickered softly, creating a quiet, intimate atmosphere in the small neighborhood grocery store. Daniel, late 30s, leaned slightly forward across the checkout counter, his posture relaxed but attentive, brown paper bag of groceries resting at his side. His hazel eyes were filled with empathy and quiet understanding, softening the rugged lines of his stubbled face. Short dark brown hair streaked with gray, faint crow's feet near his eyes, and a gentle smile conveyed a subtle reassurance that seemed to ease the tension in the air. Each movement he made was careful and unhurried, as if he understood the fragility of the moment unfolding before him. Across the counter, Lily, early 20s, petite and delicate, froze mid-motion, hands trembling slightly over the barcode scanner. Veins were faintly visible beneath her fair skin, her greenish-brown eyes wide and glistening with unshed tears. Chestnut hair, loosely tied back, fell softly around her freckled, pale face, lightly flushed from the mix of shock and relief washing over her. Thin lips quivered as she processed Daniel's unexpected gesture, a few bills placed gently in front of her. Her body language radiated vulnerability, awe, and the quiet gratitude that threatened to overwhelm her. The blurred aisles behind them softened into the background, filled with neatly stacked canned goods and fresh produce, their colors muted under the flickering lights. Outside, dusk glowed softly on a parked car, where a small child waited patiently, oblivious to the life-changing act occurring inside. In that moment, a profound human connection blossomed, empathy bridging the space between strangers, kindness transforming the ordinary into the extraordinary. The grocery store, once just a place of routine, became a stage for compassion, trust, and the subtle but undeniable power of one small act to change a life forever. The soft hum of the small neighborhood grocery store seemed to fade as Lily, early 20s, petite and delicate, absorbed the moment unfolding before her. Her hands, still trembling, held the bills Daniel had placed gently on the counter. Greenish-brown eyes wide and shimmering, she covered her mouth briefly, lips quivering, as a mix of shock, relief, and overwhelming gratitude washed over her. Chestnut hair fell softly around her freckled, pale face, lightly flushed from the intensity of her emotions. Each subtle movement betrayed vulnerability, a quiet human fragility rarely seen in the bustling rhythm of daily life. Daniel, late 30s, leaned casually across the counter, his posture relaxed yet attentive. His rugged features, short dark brown hair streaked with gray, light stubble along a strong jawline, and faint lines near tired hazel eyes, softened as he observed her reaction. Warmth radiated from his gentle smile, a quiet reassurance that transcended words. Worn denim jacket layered over a gray hoodie, faded jeans, and scuffed boots reflected both the fatigue of a long day and the quiet strength of a man capable of empathy. The fluorescent lights overhead flickered softly, casting warm, intimate shadows over their faces and clothing, while the blurred aisles of neatly stacked canned goods and fresh produce receded into soft focus. Outside, the fading dusk illuminated a parked car, where a small child waited patiently, unaware of the life-altering moment inside. In that brief, suspended instant, the ordinary grocery store transformed into a stage for human kindness, vulnerability, and the quiet ripple of empathy. A simple act of generosity had bridged the gap between strangers, leaving an indelible mark on both their lives and illuminating the transformative power of compassion in even the most mundane spaces. The small neighborhood grocery store basked in the warm glow of the fading dusk, the flickering fluorescent lights casting soft shadows across the aisles of neatly stacked canned goods and fresh produce. Daniel, late 30s, stood upright beside the checkout counter, brown paper bag of groceries at his side, his hazel eyes warm and kind as they met Lily's gaze. His short dark brown hair, streaked with gray, and light stubble along a strong jawline gave his rugged face a gentle, approachable quality. His faded denim jacket layered over a gray hoodie, worn jeans, and scuffed boots spoke of both a long day and the quiet strength of a man grounded in empathy and humanity. Lily, early 20s, petite and delicate, held the bills he had placed for her with hands still trembling slightly. Her chestnut hair, loosely tied, framed a freckled, pale face lightly flushed from emotion. Greenish-brown eyes shimmered with gratitude and relief, lips quivering as a soft, tearful smile spread across her face. Every subtle movement, from the tilt of her head to the gentle quiver in her hands, radiated vulnerability, appreciation, and a newfound sense of hope. Her slightly wrinkled navy blue uniform shirt and black trousers, along with her name tag reading, Lily, grounded her presence in realism, emphasizing the ordinary setting of this extraordinary moment. Outside the store, the warm dusk light illuminated a parked car where a small child waited patiently, oblivious to the quiet, life-changing act inside. Within the store, the ordinary had transformed into something profoundly human, a simple gesture of kindness bridging the gap between strangers, leaving an indelible impact on both. In that fleeting moment, empathy, gratitude, and connection converged, creating a heart-touching conclusion that would linger in their hearts long after the groceries were bagged and the lights dimmed. The scene captured the enduring power of compassion, the beauty of small acts, and the quiet miracle of human understanding.